I'm going to show you how to install wainscoting and get perfect results every time. Believe it or not, you can even do this without any nails. It requires a few basic tools and some specialty adhesives. Stick around, let me show you how I do it. Now, why is it important to limit the number of nails used in trim work? Well, if you've ever seen sloppy trim work, you know what I mean. Nails means holes to fill, and the more nails, the more holes, the uglier the trim will look. All of my wainscoting starts out with the layout. For this job, I had to match the same spacing as the existing wainscoting in the adjacent rooms, so everything looked cohesive. I will typically use my laser level, but a standard level works fine. Then with a straight edge, I mark out the wall. My marks are very precise. These aren't approximate, these are the exact lines that my molding will be on, so I take my time and make it right. Once I mark up the walls, I show the customer to make sure they're satisfied with the layout and the spacing. For clarity, I'm going to refer to these as the boxes. I always mark the outside of the boxes instead of the inside measurement, regardless of the size of the trim profile, because the size is irrelevant when it comes to measuring and cutting, as you'll see in a bit. After confirming the layout, it's time for final measurements. All cuts will be 45 degrees on the saw, and I only need 2 measurements per wall because every box will be the same on that wall. Batch cutting these boxes make it a very fast process. I can measure and cut all the pieces for a large room in under an hour. When cutting the pieces, I always use a stop block. As you see here, I'm using my custom extension wings for my miter saw. If you haven't seen my video on that, I'll leave a link up on the screen so you can check it out. I break this thing out for all my important trim jobs. It has a stop block that slides on a T-track. I love this particular stop block because I'm able to flip it out of position to make one cut, then flip it back when I'm ready to use it again. It's especially useful for jobs like this. For the wall I'm working on in this video, I need 2 measurements, the vertical measurement and the horizontal measurement of the box. Then I'll make 6 cuts of each using the stop block. Then it's time for the glue up, which is the magic of this process. I always use PUR glue for this. It's a hot melt polyurethane adhesive. It has the strength of wood glue, but sets up in just seconds like a standard CA glue. The problem with CA glue is that it's just too brittle and not strong enough to hold the joint if there's any warp or twist in the wood, which there always is. So for me, PUR glue is the way to go. I use a lot of different adhesives for different jobs. It can be overwhelming, but if you're interested in seeing all of my favorite adhesives, I'll leave a link on the screen for that video. Go check it out. The only issue with PUR glue is that it's very thick. My workaround for this is to remove some of the material at the joint. I've shown this in a few of my other videos when I work with this glue. It takes a little practice, but once you figure out how to do it, it's really quick and easy to do. I just take my Dremel with a shaping bit and remove a very small amount of material. This allows me to squeeze the joint tighter by hand and not have to use a mechanical clamp like most people do when they use this glue. Those mechanical clamps leave very large holes that have to be filled, and they don't work on small trim like this. I like to set up a flat workstation for my glue up and clamp a framing square to the surface. This makes sure I'm as close to square as possible when I glue the joint. If I just glue the joints freehand, then it's more likely that that last joint will not be square. So the way I do this is I glue up 3 out of the 4 corners, then I let the glue set up for a bit, maybe 10 to 15 minutes before I glue the 4th corner. This way, none of the joints pop when you force that last corner together. Then after another 10 to 15 minutes or so, I like to remove any glue squeeze out. If you're lucky, then it will just peel right off in one piece using your fingernail. If it's stubborn, you can use a putty knife to pick it off. Just make sure you don't leave it for too long. Otherwise, you'll need to cut the glue off and you might damage the trim. While I'm waiting for the glue to set, I'll either start working on another wall or I'll work on the chair rail. Once you get into a rhythm, this process is very easy. Then it's time to attach to the wall. I have found that the best way to do this is with Loctite PowerGrab Heavy Duty. It's amazing stuff. It's strong and it's water-based, so it's easy to clean up. I've used Fast Grab PL and a few others for this process, but those products are solvent-based, so you can get very, very messy. I prefer to stick to this. I use a generous amount because I want to squeeze it into position. I carefully line it up with my markings on the wall so I limit the cleanup, but if I do get any squeeze out, all I have to do is wipe it with a wet rag. I know I said no nails for this process. You'll see here I'm just putting some 23 gauge pins as some extra insurance, just 1 in each corner. It's completely optional, and I just like to add this as the glue is setting. I've done this exact same process without any pins, and it works fine. You just have to watch a little more closely to make sure it doesn't slide out of position in the first 30 minutes or so. But then after a few hours, you're ready to caulk and paint. I don't know any method more effective than this. It's fast, it's easy, and it gives flawless results. Let me know if you have any questions about this process. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you on the next one.